Welcome back, everyone, to the GOATcast podcast. I am CW, and today we continue our series titled 96 Bulls Versus. In this, we discuss that great 96 Bulls team against teams from different years and eras. I completed the 2000s a few weeks ago and have begun the 2010s with them versus the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers. But today, we will look at that legendary team against one of the greatest teams ever assembled, the 2017 Golden State Warriors, with a lineup consisting of prime Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and the cherry on top, Kevin Durant. When Durant decided to jump ship from the OKC Thunder after losing to the Warriors in 2016, many believed it was a weak move. I myself thought it was a weird move due to the fact that I'd never really seen Durant as the type to join the competition, but now we know, in hindsight, it's 2020. That team seemed like an NBA 2K cheat team, and in many ways, they were. So can the Jordan-led 1996, 72, and 10 Bulls conquer the 2017 Golden State Warriors? Let's see. But first, if you enjoy these breakdowns and analysis, please like and subscribe to the channel. It just helps the channel grow as we are in the hunt for 500 subs. All right, now the 96 Bulls versus the 2017 Warriors. The 2017 Golden State Warriors were the top team in the Western Conference in 2017. That shouldn't surprise anyone. In those playoffs, the Warriors were able to sweep the Dame Portland Trail Blazers, sweep the Utah Jazz, sweep my San Antonio Spurs, and pull out a nice tuxedo and the shiniest broom they could find to gentlemen sweep LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, when you have MVP level Steph, healthy Klay, somewhat under control Draymond, and man on a mission KD on one team, I really don't think you could expect anything less. Even in those days of the Western Conference still being a beast of a division, with both Steph and KD averaging 28 points in those playoffs, with Klay and Draymond both also scoring in double figures, this was a team to behold. The 96 Chicago Bulls, well, do I need to go through this again? This was Jordan's first full season back after his first retirement after the 93 season, and also when Dennis Rodman joined the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls in 96 ran through the Eastern Conference and won number 4 for Mike and crew, but they were able to overpower a very respectable Sean Kemp and Gary Payton Seattle Supersonic team, or for the younger cats, the now Oklahoma City Thunder. In those playoffs, Jordan erupted to average 31 points with Scotty, Rodman, Kukoc, among others, aiding the effort where needed. Their showing throughout the season and playoffs was something of legends and is still lauded as one of the greatest seasons of all time. So in a highly anticipated 7-game series, who would win? Let's first look at their seasons. 2017 Golden State Warriors had the best offense in the league that year. No surprises, averaging 115.9 points per game. Their defense actually got better as Durant joined the squad, being the 11th overall in defense, only allowing 104.3 points a game. Truly an offensive juggernaut, they still were able to hold team to a respectful number during the season. Meanwhile, as we've shown before, the 96 Chicago Bulls had the best offense of the season, averaging 105.2 a game, and on defense, they were the third best that year, only allowing other teams 92.9 points a game. Pretty solid on both ends of the floor. This series feels like it could be one for the ages, with a very strong offensive and defensive team in the Bulls and a very potent offensive team that could lock down a team when necessary with the Warriors. Now let's talk about the team's advantages. First, the Warriors. With 3 guys that can absolutely light it up from 3, they have some big advantages on offense. With Andre Iguodala still mobile and able to defend at a high level off the bench, Sean Livingston, David West, JaVale McGee, and Zaza Pachulia, they had big help in spurts as well. Of course, Draymond was running the offense and he was even able to put up solid numbers. So their advantages are the 3-headed snake, Steph, Klay, and Durant. Disruptive defense and great bench, Livingston, Iggy, old David West, and JaVale McGee. As for the Bulls, this collective had a thirsty Michael Jordan, stepping away from the sport he loved to try the other game he enjoyed, baseball. After finding minimal success, he returned wearing the 4-5, and after a full season, was back atop the NBA as the face of the place. Pippen was in full prime, while Rodman honed in on his rebounding and toughness even more. Kukoc had firmly transitioned to the Western game and was a threat on the floor. Adam Phil Jackson still at the helm, plus solid role players like Steve Kerr and Luke Longley, and some solid defense from Ron Harper, you had a team that we could realistically point out quite a few advantages. But for this series, they are exceptional defense, as always, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. With that on your side, what else do you need? And of course, Dennis Rodman, being the force on defense and on the boards that he is. So the X factors. What would be the X factor for the Warriors? Their bench. But for being completely honest, the only huge knock on those 96 Bulls had to be their bench. Outside of Tony Kukoc, who was mostly a starter for the most part, Steve Kerr, Bill Wennington, and maybe Judd Buechler, their bench was basically a non-factor. On the other side, the Warriors had a bench. Again, Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston, JaVale McGee, Patrick McCaw, Ian Clark, and even past his prime David West, all contributed pretty well to the Warriors when the starters had to sit. With their athleticism and talent, they would be a handful for the Bulls, who really couldn't go very deep on their bench. So the starters, who would already have a lot to deal with Steph, Clay, and KD, would be spent having to try to guard a second wave of solid players. This could overwhelm those Bulls, who, while an exceptional defensive team, with little help off the bench, they would have to wage a war of attrition they may not be able to win. The Bulls' X factor against these 2017 Warriors would be Dennis Rodman. As I put him as an advantage, he too would be an X factor. Rodman has the ability to get under almost anyone's skin on the court. He's just a pest. So with the noted hothead and Draymond Green basically being Golden State's de facto point guard, Rodman being able to fluster Green could lead to some bad passes, easy turnover conversions. Luke Longley would be fine handling Zaza, and McGee would only be good for a few minutes before he needed a breather, so the Bulls would be fine there. But if the Warriors go for their small ball death lineup, with Draymond basically being the center, Rodman could really change the outcome of the series by roughing up Green and having a Fields day rebounding. For being nearly 7 foot tall, KD is only a decent rebounder, and with Scottie and Rodman on the floor together, he'd probably not be much of a factor there. So the Warriors would have to make shots because they'd likely be one and done. As long as Rodman kept his cool and played his usual cerebral games on Green, he could really swing the tide for the Bulls. So who wins? In my opinion, this could be some classic basketball on display through a 7-game series. Home court advantage really isn't a thing to me when you have 2 championship caliber teams. Coach is not a factor here for me, as Phil and Steve Kerr are both solid coaches and have exceptional players to help. It all comes down to the players on the court. However, for the first time in the series, I'm a little torn. The Warriors were actually just that good. Bringing in KD wasn't even necessary for the Warriors to likely win the 2017 chip, but having him pretty much guaranteed it as long as they stayed healthy. Jordan would probably be able to feast on Clay, especially 96 Jordan, so he's going to get his, and Scottie would be a problem, which means Draymond would likely get duties on him. That could be a seriously good back and forth. Meanwhile, the Bulls would need everything Kukoc, Kerr, and Buechler could offer from the three-point line to match what we know the Warriors would put out. Then there's KD. Can Scottie stifle the Slim Reaper enough to keep him from putting up big numbers, since Ron Harper and Jordan would likely deal with Steph? And Steph will probably be able to get to his sweet spots. In the end, after some back and forth with my gut saying one thing and my brain telling me another, I have to go with another victory for the 96 Chicago Bulls, 4-3. As we know, Mike is a finisher, 45% when it comes to game-winning shots. Steph and KD can close, but Steph has been pretty pedestrian in that area. I really almost gave it to the Warriors just because they had the right mix of all-time great starters and a deep bench, something the Bulls lacked. However, the Bulls' defense, I believe, would just be too disruptive for the Warriors. Having a backcourt of Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, and Scottie Pippen is a nightmare for the leaner, less physical Warriors. In the end, this would be an absolute classic and one for the ages. But what do you guys think? Would this even go 7 games, or could you see the Warriors beating the Bulls in fewer games or vice versa? Let me know in the comments section how you feel. Also, if you want to ascend to GOAT status like number 23, please hit that like and subscribe button. Helps out the channel and keeps things moving. The road to 500 subscribers is in full effect, and I really appreciate everyone that has been a part of the GOATcast podcast thus far. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll be back soon with more content. Thank you.